Ready to go?
Yep.
Okay. Hi, Jesse. It's really nice to meet you, and thank you so much for coming here and chatting with me. Can you briefly introduce yourself to our audience and what it is that you do?
My pleasure. Thank you for having me. Jesse Annunziata. I'm a partner at Artico Search. We are a search firm that is dedicated to recruiting within the cybersecurity industry.
Mm-hmm.
Um, our clients and our work encompasses go-to-market leaders for cybersecurity vendors. We also do a lot of work helping private equity, venture capital backed, and public companies
Mm-hmm.
identify and hire their security leadership, typically the Chief Information Security Officer. And our third arm of our practice is helping CISOs and security leaders build out functional teams across security architecture, engineering, operations, incident response, product security, so on and so forth.
Nice, very nice. And what brings you to BSides NYC?
So BSides is a body and a conference we've always loved and been supportive of. We
Uh-huh.
think BSides is a very important sort of pillar in the community. I think what's great about BSides is the affordability of the conference and what it offers to the industry broadly.
Okay.
You have students, fresh graduates,
Mm-hmm.
entry-level folks, and then you've got some very experienced, industry thought leaders that come and share their perspective and host talks. And we think it's just really important in addressing, there's a talent gap in the cybersecurity space, right? There are far more many roles open than we have available talent for. And the professional development that occurs at BSides and is fostered within the community here, we think is super important, and we're always excited to be able to support when we can.
Great. I think you just mentioned that you have different kinds of attendees coming to BSides, right? People who are just starting off, whereas people who have been in the industry, experienced, seen through a lot of things, been through a lot of different scenarios. And it's a great place. It's like a melting pot for different kinds of people to come together and talk and share their ideas. In your experience on a day to day basis, what kind of skill sets do you look for? Because people constantly ask what it takes to get into cybersecurity. And that's one aspect. But once you get into cybersecurity, there are multiple different flavors and different kinds of roles. So, what kind of skill sets do you look for in somebody who's like a security engineering manager versus somebody who's a security architect? Like, what kind of skill sets do you think you really need in order to be successful?
Sure, great question. And I guess there are several ways to answer, and it depends on the subdomain and the focus of
Mm-hmm.
the role and stuff like that. In general, I think as people transition into cybersecurity, having a good foundation and technical background
Okay.
in general
Mm-hmm.
helps professionals be more thorough at their job in security.
Okay.
Security and its place in the business and within companies also, it reaches beyond just the security team. So having the ability to communicate and work with engineering and development and leadership and
Mm-hmm.
being able to be the voice of security and really help build security culture. I mean, these are, a combination of hard skills and soft skills that the more you're adept at them and the more you develop them within dynamic environments, the better and more efficient of a security professional you can be.
You mentioned building out a security culture, right? Like, what does that mean and how do you build that? It means different things for different people, but according to you and based on your experience of what you're seeing, what is it that people are looking for in their security leaders?
Sure. So from a leadership perspective, I mean, and the CISO is a tough role, right? Like you have the security domain knowledge and expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on your business, you're working externally with regulators, you're supporting sales functions, you're supporting marketing, you're supporting IT, you're supporting all of the core functions across the business. So it's a pretty dynamic audience that security leaders need to be able to engage and communicate with.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, looking down, it takes a lot of, one of the biggest areas of friction that we see is security versus engineering or security
I
versus
see.
software development. So bringing in leaders that have empathy towards the other technical engineering functions within the business often sets things up to be most successful
And sounds like a lot of empathy and cross collaboration, cross functional collaboration.
100%.
Great, great. Thank you so much for that.
Sure.
And I ask everybody who's come on this segment to give ChatGPT a prompt. And one of the prompts that you gave was how to build a high performing security team. And ChatGPT has given a bunch of answers. And based on that answer, like, what do you think it did well, and what do you think can be done better? What are your thoughts?
I think it gave a good framework
Mm-hmm.
to approaching the question,
Uh-huh.
right? Define roles and responsibilities, recruit top talent, foster strong team culture. I think where ChatGPT kind of leaves off is how to do each of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Defining roles and responsibilities is fairly straightforward, but when it comes to recruiting top talent, okay, how do you recruit top talent?
Yeah.
What does it take to not only identify top talent, but then to actually win over somebody in a competitive scenario or bring them into your organization
Mm-hmm.
versus the other choices that they have? And most of the, top level of talent across the security industry typically has many choices. So figuring those types of things out, I'm not seeing, it's a pretty long response.
Sure.
But
Sure. And that's mostly because, it's basically telling what it has seen in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it does provide a good framework, but I think within each of the bullet points that it has come up with, there's certainly another level of depth that has to be explored and figured out.
Yeah, the how is missing.
Yes,
Got it.
exactly.
Great. And I think I'll leave you with this one final question. What are you most excited for today? Like, what are you hoping to get out of the BSidesNYC attendance today?
Couple things. Number one, I love being back in person, meeting
Mm-hmm.
with people
Mm-hmm.
face to face, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the work that we do is over the phone and over Zoom, so it's always nice to spend time with people, meeting new people, having friends of friends come to our booth and visit is always great. One of the other things, and I didn't mention this before, that we've done is we're launching a compensation and career satisfaction survey
Okay.
for all levels of enterprise security function below the CISO.
Okay.
We do a CISO compensation study as well. That's been running for a few years.
Mm-hmm.
What we're doing today is, it was actually launched 2 weeks ago. It's done in partnership with IONS Research.
Okay.
And it's a study that will provide insight into enterprise security organizations at the engineer level, at the architect level, at the manager level, the director level. Ultimately, we do think that this will provide, the insight will allow companies to, number one, make their jobs and security teams more attractive to the external market. It will also help professionals within the space benchmark themselves across the industry, across their peers. We do think that this will be a valuable tool as we address inequities in the space, and overall, again, just addressing that talent gap. It's a multifaceted challenge that we're constantly trying to contribute from our perspective towards solving.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of states are now giving out laws saying that you have to specify the compensation range for each role. I know New York has that.
Correct.
And I think this helps address pay equity, and that's a great initiative. So thank you so much. And I'm very happy to hear that BSidesNYC has been able to give you that kind of a platform to talk to people and, be a great launchpad for you.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Jesse. It was a wonderful chat.
Great chatting with you. My pleasure.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.